this is just about improving diversity and representation with our research. It's a fairly minor item, really. I think I know staff are here to discuss it if there are any questions. Not the flashiest introduction, but there's not really much to say.
Well, yes, there is. I mean, it is worth noting that important for a collaborative approach to improving responses from young people across the monitoring and research teams. You know, I mean, it's vital that they're having a say. And
I think it's also important to note that, you know, funded within existing budgets as well. So this is about doing things better, not adding extra overhead.
All right. So, and
I'm not sure whether I can ask one question for staff.
yeah, sure.
Thank you for the information. Thank you for information. But if we review this title, you particularly emphasize this diversity. You know, those kind of the improving. But this part actually is focused on the age only, particularly for the young people. But how about the some other ethnic group, etc. Particularly you highlight Maori, Pacific Island, and Asian people. How to improve this number panel?
Yeah. My colleagues over in the research team also presented a very similar paper to the Multicultural Committee earlier, and I know that that's a very high priority for them as well, both age diversity and multicultural diversity, so they're exploring all of those options within existing budget. Just in time. Sorry. You're fine. The question from...
Oh, we just ran down the stairs too.
The question from Jimmy was just around multicultural as well.
Yep, so we're still working on that, Jimmy, and there's the work going on at the engagement working group at the moment, and we will try to leverage off some of that as well. So are working on it, and it's kind of the youth is one side and multicultural is the other, and they'll come together.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Pauline?
Yeah, thank you. Just a quick one. In point number 2, and you talk about how to increase youth participation and suggesting things like vouchers, discounts, and is that for the ones that you're trying to bring into the group, or is this for consultations and workshops and things?
So it will be potentially a little bit of both. We see that if we're going to have young people in advising us on how we could potentially lift that youth engagement, then we do need to be compensating them in some way. But also we may need to look at incentives to boost engagement, and what that is, we don't know yet. We're still working through that. But the first step is really looking at what are young people interested in and how can we engage with them better.
Yeah, so I know that it was quite a few years ago now, ECAN ran a consultation for youth, and they had a pizza night, and I think it was pretty successful actually. So just offer food and they come. But I know it sounds weird, but anything to get people out and engaging is probably a really good idea, I think.
So yeah, we're working through it, and we don't want to just jump straight to solutions. We want to look at actually what's going to encourage them to engage, not once.
But you need to engage with them to get that information.
Basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that concept of bringing people together over shared food, it's actually a well proven one.
It is.
We did the same thing in the first term, and I don't know if you remember, but with the no, I know it's a long time ago. But we did that when we were having all of the debate around the long-term plan, and there was all of that discussion about rates income versus capital assets and income generating assets as opposed to those that weren't, and debt, and the relationship between them and the different tools that you could use. It was more of an educative process at the front end of the LTP, and it was necessary because of the state of the finances, but we used that with young people to get them to start thinking about where they would allocate and what tools that they would use then to leverage the allocation that they wanted to make.
Yes.
So yeah, really getting into some of that. Sorry, Josh.
Yeah.
And I think there's some different approaches depending on how we engage. I know for our more formal groups, breaking down concepts such as debt headroom allows them to make really informed submissions. But for other groups, really, we're just looking at simple, what's your opinion on this matter?
And the nice thing with the research program is we have a little bit more flexibility around how we frame some stuff and how we engage with people. It's not that formal consultation type work. It is that very early research, ongoing type conversation work. So yeah, we just need to work through how they want to talk with us.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, because I'm just picking up that point because, and it's just set off a little alarm for me, which is the future for local government work. There's a very large number of older people who are engaging themselves in a conversation about the future. And I would have thought that young people would have been core critical to that conversation. And so I'm actually wondering whether something that could be picked up by the incoming council is that the Youth Advisory Committee could really focus on that future for local government and actually take them on a bit of a preliminary journey, but then start to get them, because I think that report's due out late October, I think.
That's right.
So, or it might have even been extended further. I have a feeling that they may have even lost a bit more time. But anyway, when it comes out, that would be a very good thing for people to read, and then for them to start breaking down the issues, because for a lot of young people that I've spoken to, climate change is like number one on everything that they want to talk about.
Yep.
And, and I don't know that it's number one on everything that, a certain age group wants to talk about.
I can take that on as an action.
Okay.
Yeah, can I just add to that too, that young people generally are not that keen on meetings and talking, so you need to have tactile things to be able to get them to engage. So I think what Leanne was talking about with that thing we had was not just the kai, but it was actually boards and doing things, and so it's a different kind of way they have to work, otherwise it's boring for them.
Yep.
And they actually really rather just be out there doing something, but
I think Amy's our youngest person probably in the room, so we'll probably agree with that anyway.
yeah.
Might be Ashley. She sits in just behind me.
Oh, it's all right, we've got the entire broadcasting school. They're making careful note.
I wonder if they agree with me.
From this end of the
Okay, I've got
population.
Phil, Tim and Yanni.
This is a great report, guys. The bit that stands out for me is, and I'm pleased you put it in, less jargon and easy to read content. So that we've got to bring them in the tent. So that's not a question, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
It's a very
that's
good
the aim
point.
of the game.
Yeah, Tim.
I think it's kind of an irony, isn't it? Small people talking about how to get young people to talk. So, I think we should just leave it
We're
to you
just
guys,
recognising our
because you guys
deficits.
are on the coalface. One question for the future for me, though, is there any kind of, with the youth council, as there is with this council, any political leanings, and does that affect that? And that would be interesting to know. But not for an answer now, but just in the future. Thank you.
Yanni.
Thanks. Just wanted to check, obviously this is really important work, and appreciate all the work that's gone in. We've also got the local body election, and I know there's a kids voting program that the schools can participate in.
Yep.
Do you have any sense of a connection or the number of schools in the Christchurch that are participating?
Yeah, that's Ngā Pohia Taiohi. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head how many schools, but we've certainly been engaging with a large number of them for the youth voting, and we're also heading out to Lincoln University this afternoon. We're meeting with ARA, UC and Otago as well.
So I just wondered if there was a way to tie in the sort of engagement you're doing on that to either generate some interest in some of the groups that you're looking to set up here.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Cool.
we've been having some conversations, particularly with the University of Canterbury at the moment, around whether we could work with them on parts of this as well. So
Yeah,
we're
great.
looking a bit wider.
Yeah, and I just want to acknowledge the work. I mean, I won't debate it, but just to acknowledge the work that you're doing. I think it's really great that you're tracking who's making submissions and understanding where the gaps are in terms of people in our society.
I've got Jake's moved this and it's been seconded by, who was it? Melanie, yeah, wasn't it? Yeah, that's right. So, any debate? I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried. Thank you very much. Next one is the Metropolitan